think a lot of you don't understand that what leftists are fighting for is for everybody to be able to live their lives how they want. Of course, within the confines of not harming others or harming themselves unconsensually. However, we want everybody to be able to express themselves and look how they want, feel how they want, and just be the person that they want to be. I do not understand why there would be an opposing party to this.
The biggest piece of irony of that statement is that you basically just described the non-aggression principle, which is the foundation of libertarian ideology, and yet leftists constantly oppose libertarians like myself. Why? Because that's not what leftists believe, or at least not the only thing y'all believe in. For example, the majority of leftists subscribe to socialist ideology, and socialists do not recognize private property rights. And this is because leftists primarily believe in positive rights, whereas libertarians primarily believe in negative rights. This essentially means that leftists believe that certain rights require the duty of others to interfere in free will. For example, many leftists believe that people have a right to food, healthcare, and water. But all of these things require the labor of others. To suggest that you have a right to them is to imply that you should have access to them even if the person providing you with such goods and services is not compensated for it, which in turn is a form of slavery. Negative rights, which libertarians typically believe in, just requires people to not interfere. Things like free speech, free trade, the right to private property. These types of rights exist unless somebody infringes upon them. And leftists are typically infringing on the right to free speech to prevent hate speech. Leftists will typically be in favor of interfering with free trade in order to meet basic needs of other people. And of course, leftists tend to oppose private property rights because they think everything should be communally or collectively owned. If the only thing leftists believed in was letting people live their lives so long as they are not infringing upon the rights of others, they would essentially be libertarians. And yet, I can say from experience, leftists and libertarians butt heads all the time. So if you're going to ask why people oppose leftists, when leftist ideology is essentially leaving people alone so long as they do not infringe upon anybody else's right to exist peacefully, my question to you is, why do leftists hate libertarians so much? Of course, more importantly, why is it when leftists try to argue with libertarians 90% of the time, they're doing so in bad faith by asking something about, what do libertarians think about the age of consent, as if anarcho-socialists like David Thorstead haven't made similar arguments. Seriously, worry about your own camp before you start playing this guilt by association game.